Hi, I am Jovan Rios. This is my interpersonal process presentation. The topic of my presentation is empathy. According to an academic journal published in 2025, practicing empathy is a catalyst for practicing pro social behavior. During this divisive time, I think we can all do with a little more pro social behavior. As members who share a community, whether that be county, state, or even country, I think it's important for us to work together so we can build stronger communities. Having empathy not only builds stronger communities, but allows us to create policy to make sure everyone is being treated fairly under the law. I myself know I am not particularly strong when it comes to showing empathy, so it is important that I try and develop empathy and learn about it more so I can be a better person. I am going to explain in this presentation how a lack of empathy can negatively affect your relationships, the benefits of showing empathy, and how to show more empathy. To explain how empathy can improve relationships, I must first explain how a lack of empathy can negatively affect you. According to Wu and Yang, people's lack of empathy as a result of being obsessed with their own identity as well as their perspective leads to a threat against genuine love, as it can be hard to accept the differences that people and your relationships have if you lack empathy. This has happened to me before in a friendship of mine where a person was obviously wrong for what they did, but their pride didn't allow them to apologize and understand why I was mad at them. Now, this was a friend that I've had since a toddler, so we eventually resolved the issue, but for a while we weren't on speaking terms, and the relationship was very tense. Another form of relationship that can be negatively affected by a lack of empathy are professional relationships. I'm sure all of us have been in a setting where we are collaborating and working on a project with other people, and there is a person too stuck in their ways to listen to anyone else's opinion. This not only makes you less likable as a teammate, but is also less efficient as you are basically missing the whole point of the collaboration. After discussing the negative effects of lacking empathy can have on relationships, I think it is important that we discuss the benefits of showing empathy. Many of us can often be in our own worlds, focus on whatever we have going on in our lives, not worried or caring about necessarily what other people have going on in theirs. It is important to show empathy, as it allows for a deeper understanding of other individuals, which helps build stronger relationships and live happier lives. Having empathy often leads to having more friends and being more well liked, according to Hogan. And just logically, this makes sense, as I'm sure many of us would prefer if we had friends who were kind and understanding. Fortunately, with the exception of some mental disorders, it is not hard to show empathy and should be practiced regularly. My favorite people in life are the most empathetic people I know. An example would have to be my grandma, who is always even understanding, even sometimes when she shouldn't be. She is also very kind and service minded. Now that we have gone through the pros and cons of empathy, I think it is important that we discuss how to actually show more empathy. Some people are just born with the ability to empathize with others, have, and others have to approve their ability. I fall into the latter category, so that is why I research ways of improving my empathy. The first way mentioned by Verderber to improve my empathy was by paying attention to nonverbal and paralanguage cues. This means not just to pay attention to what they are saying, but their body language. Another way is by paying attention to the emotional content of what they are saying. And the final method that Verderber mentioned was using the skill of perception. Hopefully, by implementing these techniques, I will be able to increase my ability to empathize with others. By building empathy, I hope to strengthen or even build new strong relationships that will last for a long time. I hope through this speech I was able to emphasize how important empathy can be and why I wish to build it within myself. Through this speech, I hope I was able to show the negative effects a lack of empathy can have on relationships, how empathy can benefit us, and how to build empathy within oneself. Now that I have explained a little more about the importance of empathy, I hope everyone can try and show a little more empathy and help out your fellow human, as we can all use a little help from time to time. Thank you all for listening to this presentation.